Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I am Hira Nadia. Clearly, if you see in terms of where markets are concerned, some positivity that continues 0.4% higher, and we hit 19,811 in trade today. Now, clearly, everyone's looking at the journey towards 20,000. How soon it will be or how delayed it will be is something we need to wait and watch. But good support coming in from the banking majors as well today, because if you see banking, if we're seeing gains of almost around 0.6%. So clearly outperformance coming in from the banking majors in today's session vis-a-vis the benchmark indices. A lot of stock specific action and newsmakers in trade today. Joining us on the show to discuss more is Sharmila Joshi. Sharmila, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Sharmila, my first question coming to you is, let's start with the Reliance Industries. The stock is in focus as well with regards to the demerger. What's your view and what would you advise investors to do?
So, fortunately, we have a situation where you are going to have Geo Financial Services as a part of Nifty. So, they are giving you enough time. And I think this move has been done so that, the price discovery happens sort of, they give investors enough time to have a price discovery, as well as the fact that there is no selling that will arise because, Geo Financial Services is not a part of the main indices. And when I think the full listing of Geo Financial Services happens, that's when it will move out of the Nifty. So, they made that temporary provision to have 51 stocks in what should be, it's traditionally Nifty 50. So, I think that's a good measure. Secondly, I think that this is also something that investors have been waiting for the longest time, because, the reason why, for instance, people like me were positive on Reliance was the fact that they have these new businesses where you're expecting, things to sort of do better than their traditional businesses. So in any case, I welcome this as a move, and I think that let's just stay and put it in terms of how the price moves. But I don't really think of it as any concern for long-term investors of Reliance.
Right, so that's with regards to Reliance Industries. Moving on, HDFC Bank, now we have the merged entity which is trading. They did report earnings as well. How are you looking at a HDFC Bank?
So, frankly, now I think that we have the merger finally taking place. The way I have been approaching HDFC Bank ever since I've heard this news of them merging HDFC with HDFC Bank is that now you're looking at an entity which will be counted among the largest banks, the top 10 banks in the world. And I think for the synergies of that to pay off for you, something really terrible would have to be happen in HDFC Bank for me to turn negative on the stock. So I've been really positive on the stock from the time I heard this news, and I think now the game plan is to stay invested for the next couple of years and see where it takes us.
Right. Another stock I want to discuss with you, Sharmila, is a Sheela Foam. Now they have announced two acquisitions as well, Kurlon as well as for Lenco. What do you make of these acquisitions? And from do you think it's margin accretive as well and a good point to buy a Sheela Foam?
So the stock has seen a run up since the news, and I think both acquisitions, as per me, are very good. I think the Kurlon acquisition, we've seen it discussed in great detail. 2 times of sales, etc. The fact that Kurlon is in geographies different from what Sheela Foam is in. The strength is in different geographies. So, etc., etc. And fragmented market, they become the largest player, and we are seeing, that trend in the traditional where back in the day we used to get our mattresses made, and the fact that now you're just sort of going through, the standard routes to get a mattress delivered at home. So I think that obvious shift, and that I think is definitely a big thumbs up as far as that acquisition goes. But I think even the other one is very interesting, because I think that when you're talking of entering into furniture rentals and branded furniture rentals, I think that given the fact that we are a huge part of the population which is IT and which could be, located in a place only for a couple of years or needs to urgently set up house, I think these kind of offerings will sort of gain more more popularity and better revenues going forward. I think both the acquisitions are fine, and my target on the stock would be closer to 1400.
Right. Moving on, Havells India has been buzzing in trade as well in today's session. Clearly, from a company perspective, how are you looking at a Havells India?
So once again, I think perhaps the buzz on the stock today is, I believe, has seen a positive brokerage report. But overall, I think if you look at the stock, I think this is a very well-run company. The various verticals that they are present in, the way they position their brand, the way they're in the top three sort of all, most of the categories that they have presence in. So I think from the longer term perspective, again, a great stock to have in your portfolio. You could see corrections because that's mid caps have had their run up. But having said that, I think for a longer term investor, this is either an ad or a hold.
Okay. Moving on, Amara Raja saw a block deal in today's session. Sharmila, 14% equity has exchanged hands. What's your view?
So we have only two listed players in the battery space. One is Amara and one is Excite. And very honestly, neither of them have done much, in these last 3-4 years with this whole. The conversation has now shifted to electric vehicles and batteries for that, etc. So, the traditional battery makers have sort of, they're doing well, but, that interest is not there, which sometimes the mid-cap stock requires. And this exit is obviously, it's going to mean that there is a bit of an overhang. So, it's not like I'm negative on the stock because obviously I think market has always preferred Amara Raja to Excite, if you look at the valuations, etc. But for the near term, I think there could be a bit of an overhang.
Right, so that's with regards to where Amara Raja goes. Federal Bank is another one in focus. Sharmila, and the subsidiary, which is FedFina, has revived the IPO plans and they've said it'll be via a fresh issue on OFS. How are you looking at it?
So the results weren't the best, and I think that market sort of punished the stock on that day, and in fact punished the entire PSU banking space on that day. But yes, I think post when the dust settles on the numbers and you find that the stock looks reasonable and this follow up of this news. So I think it's a stock I'm neutral on. It's not my preferred bet in the space, but yes, I think this has sort of put the results in a bit of a better perspective.
Another one which is reacting to earnings today is the LTI Mindtree. The stock is down 3%, the top loser in terms of Nifty 50 as well, and this is mainly on the back of the earnings. What do you make of the earnings? Because last 2 to 3 trading sessions, the entire IT pack has been in focus.
So precisely, I think that's the whole deal because we went into the earnings season not expecting IT numbers to be good. So anything that delivered along expected lines, we actually saw the stocks move up because obviously, valuations were in favor. You've been talking for the longest time about a US recession. That again doesn't seem to be happening. So overall, people were of the mindset that you can take a positive call on IT. But if you disappoint from what the market is expecting, also you had a bit of a run up because you were in the stock was included in the Nifty. I think maybe 2 or 3 days back. So you do see some amount of buying coming on the back of that. And then after that, to deliver results that missed estimates, you are going to see some kind of a correction. So I think it's only that. I'm not negative on the stock. I quite like the stock, in fact. But yes, I think this correction was expected on the back of such numbers.
Right. So that's with regards to where few of the names go. Now, Smart is another one. Overall, if you see in terms of earnings, a pretty mixed reaction is what we've seen. People still have faith in the counter, but from a valuation perspective, it's still expensive stock. How would you look at a DMart and what do you think is driving the counter?
So yes, I think precisely if you look at the history of IPOs and how they perform 1 year down the line, etc., there are very few IPOs which will pass the test with flying colors the way DMart has performed. So ever since it's gotten listed, it's given very good returns to investors. We've had reports written which are projecting some fantastic valuations, and then we've seen sort of softer numbers, margins again hit, etc. So it's a stock I like for sure, but it's just that it has to deal with the pressures that it had of the kind of fancy valuations that were being given to the stock, etc. So it's a bit of a neutral stance for now, but uh, they need to sort of get their act right in terms of fixing why their margins have been impacted and the fact that there will be fresh competition coming into the fray, etc. So you need to watch the results for a bit, but overall, it's a stock that I like.
Right. Moving on, another stock that's buzzing in trade today is a Newland Laboratories. Over 10% is the kind of move that we are seeing in today's session. And if you see post Q4 numbers as well, the stock did see a good jump. We're almost seeing a 60% jump in terms of the top line. The operating profit was a record high. Uh, the stock is buzzing in trade today. What would your advice be to investors?
So it's been one of those few pharma stocks which good numbers and then market rewarding it, etc. But I think that most of the positives are now in the price. So I don't know what the run up today is on the back of, but yes, I do think that when the numbers were reported, there was a case, sort of positive case being made out for Unit. But having said that, now I would be sort of more neutral on the stock, given that the stock has had a run up since its numbers.
Right. These are few of the names which have been buzzing in trade today. Thank you, Sharmila, so much for joining us on the show and sharing your views. So clearly, the market seeing some good moves in today's session. Up move led by Adani Group companies as well. So Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, both these counters are up in trade. And this is on the back of the commentary we've been hearing at the AGM. Infosys is seeing a good up move in today's session. ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, both these counters are on an uptrend. In fact, both of these counters at similar levels is what we are seeing. LTI Mindtree are downer, Titan, Grasim, Dr. Reddy's, as well as the DBS Laboratories are a few of the other counters which have been trading under pressure. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to BQ Prime.